who's actually not new to the squad, but we finally get to see her in NWSL play, so she is a fresh face because of that. And then you've got #2 overall pick Morgan Weaver making her second start today. Autumn Smithers, undrafted, but still getting a start in the last game.
See if Autumn Smithers comes on as a sub today for Washington. Richie Burke also bringing in some new pieces.
So many new pieces for Richie Burke, including Avery Collins, again, getting her first start today. Kumi Yokoyama, loved watching her on the ball. I think she's got a big future in NWSL. Ashley Sanchez, #4 overall draft pick, leaving UCLA early. And Natalie Jacobs getting her first NWSL start today as well.
And for Portland, this is what Mark Parsons will bring out for his starting 11. We talked about some of the changes earlier, but here, Jen, what are you looking for out of this starting 11?
Looking for some goals, frankly, but I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Angela Salem. She's played every season of NWSL, has recently recovered from an ACL injury. Tyler Lucy, as we talked about in the Open. Bella Bixby, looking for her to have another great game. She's looked really good in her first 2 starts. Kelly Hubley, getting that start center back.
And for Richie Burke, some familiar faces out to at least start this one as he brings in a new-looking starting 11.
Lots of youth here. Of course, this is the youngest roster in the whole tournament. Avery Collins getting that start up top. Natalie Jacobs slotting in for Tori Huster at right back. They're resting the veteran. Bailey Feist in the midfield there with Jordan DiBiase and Andy Sullivan. So many Stanford grads on this lineup. Josh, I can't even count them all.
And you look at this game for both teams, such dominant midfields between the two squads. Obviously, you have Andy Sullivan, Bailey Feist getting a lot of run here in this NWSL Challenge Cup. Richie Burke that thinks that she's in great form, but of course on the other side, Christine Sinclair, you have Lindsay Herriman, you have Rocky Rodriguez. They will all play a factor for Mark Parsons. And then the question is, what happens up top for both these two teams? We talked about the top, younger players having more important role to start this one out for these two clubs.
But of course, young player like Tyler Lucy and rookie Morgan Weaver getting a start against our oldest field player in the tournament and the woman with the world record in international goals, Christine Sinclair. I love that combination of experience and youth.
And we are underway. Portland in their black kits, Washington in the white. Historically, this has been dominated by Portland, but we have seen a change in the Washington spirit under Richie Burke. A much more competitive team. We talk about the leap they took last year in the first season under Richie Burke and played up the touchline. Of course, the glare will play a factor here in about this opening 20 minutes.
I mean, you have to think of it this way, Josh, right? The NWSL is so bright, you've got to wear shades. Had to say it.
I like it.
And we know, we're past the summer solstice. Each day will get a little bit shorter. We should have a little less glare each game. And once we get to the semifinals, the NWSL Challenge Cup moves to Rio Tinto Stadium, the home of Utah Royals. Bigger venue, grass venue, not oriented into the sun, so no problems at that point.
Feist flicks it forward. Salem coming out and ripped down. Being ripped down there was Jordan DiBiase by Angela Salem.
Great article today about Angela Salem on The Athletic. If you don't already subscribe, I highly recommend it. Just her journey over the last decade, playing for, 4 different teams that have folded, having played in 5 different leagues in 3 different countries. Her original professional contract 10 years ago when she started in WPS, $6,000 a year.
Here, a great look at Morgan Weaver, the 2nd overall pick in the NWSL draft. Mark Parsons and the Portland Thorns making a trade to move up. They saw the player that they liked, so they went up and got Morgan Weaver.
And we've never had that in NWSL draft history, having #1 and #2 going to the same club.
Sophia Smith out for this one. Drafted #1 overall out of Stanford.
And unfortunately, Josh, we're hearing that it looks like Becky Sauerbrunn probably won't appear in the rest of the tournament. We still haven't seen Adriana Franch, but hey, Bella Bixby's doing a good job. Only questionable player for Portland Thorns has been Catherine Reynolds, so that means she can suit up, but she's not out. On the Spirit side, Crystal Thomas is out, and a player who wasn't named to their roster, but now we know why, Shayna Matthews, announced this week that she's expecting her 2nd child.
I think through her Instagram.
Right?
Rodriguez. Herriman. Ran to her right. Plays it in, and that one sprayed away. Klingenberg. So lethal in her pinpoint accuracy on her passes, but plays it back. Salem. Salem sends this over the top. Morgan Weir, Tyler Lucy was right there. And now with the throw in will be Natalie Jacobs. You mentioned it at the top. Natalie Jacobs getting her first NWSL start. 2016 CONCACAF Best 11 in the U20 quarterfinals.
Richie Burke has talked about she's so talented in so many areas that, you know, he can play her many places, but that's also one of the reasons that it's been a challenge for her to find a permanent place in some of the U.S. youth national teams.
For the Portland Thorns, wearing the new home black kits. Great to see the different look. Back heel from Herriman to Sinclair. Those two working some combination play. Up. Hard tackle there by Angela Salem. As that ball reverses. This one played out. Jacobs still involved. Jacobs out of USC. Klingenberg. And she'll simply play this back. Weaver trying to sneak her way through, and there's Nielsen and stop, but still giving chase was Weaver. Bledsoe had to play that out.
Nice pressure by the rookie, but last year's goalkeeper of the year calmly booted it out of danger.
Yokoyama switching sides. This one delivered in. Head out by Salem, but right to Yokoyama. She fires away, and that one just curls away from the frame. Well, Yokoyama is a proven goal scorer, 100 goals in her professional career. Looking for that first one here in the NWSL Challenge Cup.
She even had a goal nominated for the prestigious annual Puskas Award that's run by FIFA. They nominate 10 goals, male, female, amateur, international, professional. She was nominated from her goal from the U17 Women's World Cup 10 years ago.
For Yokoyama getting her second start here in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Young player, 26 years old. Looking to fill up that top. As this is played up, and Aubrey Bledsoe, knowing that Weaver's right there, goes up and grabs the ball near the top of the box. See a more aggressive Aubrey Bledsoe here as she moves up, knowing Weaver's in there. Chest to Yokoyama. McGrady. Yokoyama, second-year player out of Stanford. McGrady plays it down the line. That pass cut out. This will be played all the way back to Bledsoe. Lucy giving chase. Nearly got the right foot on it, but Bledsoe clears to midfield. Collins. Avery Collins getting her first NWSL start. Another one of those Stanford players that was on the 2017 National Championship, but for grad school, she went to Washington State where she had 6 goals her lone year there.
And she was part of that Washington State squad along with Portland's Morgan Weaver, made the Final Four of the NCAA tournament for the first time.
Salem, dummy ball, but Sinclair unable to get it all the way through, as right there is Sam Staub. Thomas through the circle. Yokoyama. Paige Nielsen, such confidence on the ball for Paige Nielsen. Talked about when she went to South Korea, her passing game really got better being in South Korea, and she's brought that back to the NWSL in her second season with the Washington Spirit.
Yeah, I think a player does nothing but grow if they get a little NWSL time, go elsewhere, broaden their game, but come back to it. So she's got a mix of that tough athleticism mixed with a skill set that she didn't have before, right? And Paige Nielsen, Sam Staub, that pair, they've played every minute so far for the Washington Spirit. To have that combo on your back is really solid. Though I'd be surprised if we didn't see maybe one of them come off a little early to just to rest legs. You know, you has at least 2 more matches to play, possibly 2 more after that. Managing minutes, so important for all these coaches.
3 games in 8 days, legs getting heavy. We've seen some bruises on some of these different players. Just want to get the body a little bit of a rest.
So both these teams know after tonight, they do have a break. They do not play again until next Sunday/Monday.
Makes it easier when you can rest those legs, rest the body. Hubley, dummy ball once again. Seen that a couple times, but unable to get it through. That shot just right on target. Bixby ready. Ashley Sanchez fires away. Bixby, though, right on the near post. Able to stop that. A great look for Ashley Sanchez.
I feel like we almost heard the thud of that ball against against Bixby's glove. Bixby gets her hands on it. Can't make a clean catch because of the force of that ball, but she gets it down and she prevents it from going out.
Sanchez, the 4th overall pick in this year's draft out of UCLA. She's the 3rd player to leave college early. Sophia Smith doing it this year as well, coming out of Stanford, the #1 overall pick. And then last year, Tierna Davidson.
And that's why we call it the Davidson rule, Josh, because Tierna Davidson was the first to do it in 2019, and that was the first year that it was allowable by league rules that you could enter the draft before exhausting your NCAA eligibility.
Look at Richie Burke there, the 2nd-year coach for Washington Spirit. Richie Burke in his first season, 9 wins for Washington. Much different looking team than the one he took over. Of course, there's still mainstay like Tori Huster, but she'll be coming on as a sub if she comes on today.
She's the only player on their squad in her 30s, even including goalkeepers.
Look at the next oldest person on the roster, Aubrey Bledsoe for the Spirit.
But we won't emphasize that anymore for Tori's sake.
Klingenberg. Salem. Klingenberg reaches Sinclair. Weaver to Herran. Herran trying to thread that ball to Lucy. Nielsen able to get a boot on it. Nielsen at the right spot. If Herran's able to find Lucy on that, she might have a chance.
And once again, we see Washington's defense having to send it back to the keeper even under pressure. Like, yeah, I got this. They're communicating really well together.
Mingus, a little too much weight on it, still able to control. That one just went out further than she thought as this is lofted in. And Aubrey Bledsoe there for the Spirit. Bledsoe last year, 86 saves on the year. Jacobs. This one dropped back by DiBiase. Nielsen.
And of course, fans might be wondering, hey, where's Rose Lavelle? Where's Ashley Hatch, right? They started both their games, both of the first 2 games. Richie Burke, of course, making sure to rotate players, rest players, knowing that he's really going to need those players when we get to the knockout stage. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see one or both of them once we get into the second half.
Of course, Rose Lavelle and Ashley Hatch, the 2 players with the goals for the Washington Spirit. Those goals coming in the first game that they played against Chicago. Mingus. I guess a more important role with Catherine Reynolds out tonight, as well as Becky Sauerbrunn. Weaver giving chase at the edge of the area. Rodriguez loops it in. Trying to find Tyler Lucy. Herriman lines it up. That one headed up, and Lucy just sends it over. Great pass by Lindsey Herriman, finding the head of Tyler Lucy. Lucy just not able to get it on a downward angle.
Kling starting off the play, sending it left to Herriman. Left foot cross. Tyler Lucy heads it, but not low enough to get that on frame.
Tyler Lucy last season, 2 game-winning goals. Looking for her first one in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Got to give a thumbs up after that pass from Lindsey Herriman.
And of course, Josh, Tyler Lucy, only player in this match sitting on a yellow card. So if she got one today, she would have to sit out the Spirits next game.
This one skied into the air by Bledsoe. Sinclair. Klingenberg. Weaver cutting through. Showing a little bit of that explosiveness, that burst that she has that Mark Parsons has talked about. One of the other things that he loves about Morgan Weaver is the quality that she has on the ball. And when you go number 2 overall, there's going to be a lot of things that a coach likes. Sullivan trying to poke that by Rodriguez, his back heel. Weaver. Seeing good combination play, good build-up by the Thorns. Tyler Lucy with their best chance. Meanwhile, on the other side for the Spirit, Ashley Sanchez had a great shot attempt, but Bella Bixby was right there to stop it. Jacobs. Nielsen. Washington always so patient in the way they like to build. They want the defense to make a mistake in their spacing, as that's played out by Klingenberg. Richie Burke always emphasizes the amount of passes that he wants throughout a game. We want to control possession. Klingenberg going direct. Tyler Lucy right there for the Thorns. Let's go ahead and look at third-year player, Paige Nielsen.
Lucy going up, Nielsen right behind her, getting called for the foul. As I like to say, Nielsen has tea. She knows how to use them.
She's got tea, she's got grit, she's got a little bit of everything. Rodriguez. Herriman towards the end line, and that one off of Yokoyama, first corner kick of the evening. Yokoyama playing deep, deflecting that pass attempt from Lindsey Herriman. Lindsey Herriman, of course, the 2018 MVP, the first player in NWSL history to win that award without winning the Golden Boot.
And she's got another MVP title in her trophy case, MVP of the 2017 championship game. Scored the game winner.
Klingenberg lining up. Right-footed ball. No danger there for the Thorns, but that one cleared only as far as Kristen Westphal sends it in. Hard collision there between Tegan McGrady and Rocky Rodriguez. Grant sends it right back, and right there is Bledsoe on the 6.
Bledsoe, one of those names that's often floated around as, when are we going to see her get a look by the U.S. national team? Of course, all of that's on hold right now. but she's got to be somewhere in Vlatko Ivanoski's little notebook.
DiBiase trying to get that one through Klingenberg. Throw here for Yokoyama and the Spirits. That one played off Kelly Hubley. Yokoyama represented Japan in the 2019 World Cup.
She did make her first appearance for the senior Japanese team in 2015, but not quite able to get on that 2015 roster.
Soccer fans, the official shop of the NWSL is coming soon. Visit NWSLshop.com now and sign up to be the first to receive special offers and promotions. NWSLshop.com, the official place to gear up and support your favorite team, coming soon.
We hear it's going to launch right around the quarterfinals, July 17th and 18th. And yes, they will ship internationally. And yes, there will be tournament branded merchandise.
High ball to the back post. See one goal off a corner here in the NWSL Challenge Cup. That coming from the Houston Dash.
Nearly all of our goals in the tournament so far, Josh, coming from the run of play.
Tegan McGrady played in 6 games last year. Good to see her back and healthy. One of the things with COVID-19, of course, allowed a lot of these players who had nagging injuries coming into this season to get more rest and fully recover. As this is played up by Nielsen. Nielsen forward. Not too often that you'll see Nielsen go that far forward, but right there, moving up with the pitch.
And with the larger rosters for this tournament, Josh, it means coaches have a little bit more freedom to rotate players, give them a little extra rest. Also, 5 subs allowed per team per game, up from the normal 3.
Herriman. And no one up front. Sinclair and Lucy in the vicinity, but not near the ball. Herriman goes up to get that so good in the air. Herriman outside Sinclair. Good connection there, and then you have the collision between Herriman and Sullivan. Sullivan, such a good player on the defensive side for Richie Burke. She really holds that glue together between that back line and the midfield. Sinclair, I should say, Sullivan, the captain once again for the Washington Spirit.
Coming in for that tough foul on Herriman. We mentioned in the open, battle of the midfields, right? Got to be a pretty tough knock if you're taking Lindsay Herriman down.
Set piece here for the Thorns. Klingenberg. That one bounces over everyone and out.
Richie Burke had talked about how they wanted to be really cautious about giving up restarts, you know, free kicks, corner kicks to Portland Thorns when he's aware of the great distribution skills of Megan Klingenberg, and more importantly, the height and powerful headers that can come from either Lindsay Herriman or Christine Sinclair.
Portland still looking for their first win in this NWSL Challenge Cup. We've seen some good build-up, but nothing resulting in a goal as of yet. Portland just 1 goal in this NWSL Challenge Cup so far. That coming from Simone Charlie. Simone Charlie can be used off the bench tonight. Salem drops back for Mingus. Rodriguez. Rodriguez, the highest international player ever drafted into the NWSL at number 2 overall out of Costa Rica.
spent 4 seasons with Sky Blue before she was acquired by the Thorns this year. Of course, Thorns sending Midge Purse back to New Jersey. Midge with 8 goals last season. Breakout season for her.
The service from Klingenberg. Just a little bit long once again. That's twice in a row now. Klingenberg has hit that ball deep into the area, and Aubrey Bledsoe, the first time, just let it go out of play, and that time able to easily pick it up off the bounce. Jacobs. Nielsen sidesteps Weaver. Sullivan. Brandy Sullivan last year played a little center back even. Richie Burke definitely prefers her in the midfield.
Now, when she's in midfield, she can even start or finish the attack. She had 2 goals last season, her first professional goals, and her most recent one came against Portland last August.
That was one of the things that Richie Burke really wanted her, was to be more aggressive on the offensive end in that final third. And you saw it, just like you said, you talked about, with 2 goals last season. Herriman switches sides, trying to change the point of attack. Westphal lofts it in the air. Rodriguez. Back to Westphal. Westphal sends it in. Headed down by Sinclair. Herriman there and cleared away on the back line. Great help. There's this assist right back in, and that one just left by Christine Sinclair once again. I believe it was Bailey Feist, maybe Jacobs there on the back line.
I think that was Jacobs, Josh. Yeah, Jacobs getting back on that line because she sees the keeper moving to the corner. Does what she's supposed to do, keeps it out of the net.
Right on the other side by the back post was Tyler Lucy. If Jacobs is not there, that's a for sure goal for the Portland Thorns. For Natalie Jacobs getting her first NWSL start tonight, and a big help there on what could have been a goal for the Thorns. Talk about being in the right spot at the right time, coming back on help. Feist chests it down. Jacobs. Rodriguez charging forward. Misplaced pass. Salem takes it forward to the Thorns. Herriman. Sinclair back to Herriman. See the nifty passing here tonight between Sinclair and Herriman. That's one of those things where you just look at the years of experience those two players have with one another. They know each other's tendencies. Obviously, they've built that combination play throughout the years during practice and in games. Now adding another piece to the puzzle in Rocky Rodriguez. I think of these 30 days, it's going to be fun to see where those three in the midfield can really grow to in this short time. Hubley playing in that center back position. You go back to 2018, she also played center back for the Portland Thorns. That was when Megan Klingenberger was out with an injury. So not unfamiliar territory. Mark Parsons talked about how she plays it, how she understands the position. But with Becky Sauerbrunn being out, that changes things for the Thorns.
And we saw rookie Autumn Smithers. She got the start in the last game. Went the whole 90, even had a shot on goal, well, almost on goal. It hit the crossbar. Or did it go over? But it was a nice shot from distance.
Yeah, it was a rocket off the foot for Autumn Smithers.
So of this back line for Portland, only Klingenberg has started all 3 games for the Thorns in this tournament.
Hubley plays it wide to Klingenberg. Patience in the build-up for the Thorns. Thorns a veteran team. They will not rush it. Mark Parsons talking about how he thought the Thorns lost their Thorns way, really trying to get back to that this year in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Wants to be effective in that final third. As this is headed away. Rodriguez, good action on the ball tonight. DiBiase plays it up, and there's Sinclair. Grand turns, goes to the captain, Christine Sinclair. Klingenberg, chests it down. Finds Lucy, heads it back. Megan Klingenberg so dangerous with those crosses into the box. 4 assists last season. Westfall. Salem. Rodriguez to Klingenberg. That pass cut out by Yokoyama. Yokoyama played it long, trying to find Avery Collins. Collins, another one of those young players for Richie Burke.
So many young players. I mean, when you're a veteran on Washington Spirit at this point, you're a third-year player, right? So, but to have a young squad that did what they did last season, coming into this season bolstered by 4, count them, 4 first-round picks. So, sorry, last year was 4 first-round picks, bolstered by Ashley Sanchez and a lot of new signings, just building on a great foundation.
Richie Burke likes youth, and he has a game plan set where he wants this team to be. He does not believe that this team is rebuilding. He feels that they have a chance to go far, and they showed it last year. Right now, scoreless as we go into the hydration break. You're watching the NWSL Challenge Cup presented by P&G and Secret. Welcome back. Scoreless here between Portland and Washington as we look at some of the NWSL Challenge Cup and what's going on in the Twitter world. And it looks like someone offering Mike Watts a salad. As you see a lot of this going on, you have obviously the hydration break. Great look at North Carolina Courage. That's a great shot there.
Oh my God, the sunset.
And then of course you have the playground, which has been talked about so much in this NWSL Challenge Cup. Amy Rodriguez kids playing it on it there, and there you get it once again.
But they took the 4th of July decorations away.
Well, it's not the 4th of July anymore. It's the 5th of July, so they're already ready to move on. We'll see if we have fireworks tonight like we did as the sun sets. And then, of course, you have the ambulance for the NWSL ambulance. So getting all the NWSL Challenge Cup. I think the NWSL Farm is this one. I don't know if there's an NWSL tractor account yet.
There will be, now that you said it. I'm still waiting for Becky Sauerbrunn meme along the lines of Chuck Norris. You know, Becky Sauerbrunn is so strong that ...
Becky Sauerbrunn can do no wrong. Sinclair. Herriman. Klingenberg stutters, now moves forward. Sinclair outside. Herriman sends it back post. Herriman getting chances here on the deliveries. For Herriman, the first player to forego college and head to Europe to play professional soccer when she went over to France to play for PSG.
She was going to play for University of North Carolina. They still claim her in their media guide when they list the players in the U.S. national team that were, you know, Tar Heels, and they put parentheses committed. I'm like, sorry, that doesn't count. Woso Stat Nerd says that doesn't count.
This one back post, Herriman there. I think they're going to say Herriman with the push from behind.
And it looks like we had another goal line clearance as well.
But another great pass for the Portland Thorns. Westfall on the passing end of this one, trying to reach Herriman, but you see the push.
Even without the foul, look at that. Look at that Paige Nielsen goal line clearance. I give that save of the game, even though the whistle had been blown.
Trying to slot that one through to DiBiase was Ashley Sanchez. Sanchez, her senior year, 15 assists for the UCLA Bruins. McGrady. Down the line. Sanchez. Sanchez had a great shot on target earlier. Her first shot on target in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Richie Berg says she has so much potential. Looking forward to see what she does in her NWSL career, and we're getting a taste of it here in this Challenge Cup. Weaver, that one cut out. Sullivan taking it away. Yokoyama. Nothing going on up top. Avery Collins was in the vicinity. There's Emily Mingus. Two-time second best 11 team member, and she was also best 11 in 2016. The former Georgetown Hoya. Herriman and DiBiase going at it, and Herriman wins. A couple of Colorado kids right there. Rodriguez in the circle. Loops one up. No one up front there for the Thorns. Rocky Rodriguez, of course, Rookie of the Year as well when she was with Sky Blue. A couple of Mac Herman Trophy winners in this, and Rocky Rodriguez as well as Andy Sullivan. Yokoyama drops it back. Dangerous pass, and Herriman almost capitalized. Bledsoe had to smother that ball. Otherwise, Herriman maybe would have tried a chip shot. But a dangerous pass back. Heads up play by Aubrey Bledsoe. Bledsoe comes from a family of keepers. Her twin sister was a keeper growing up as well. Her brother Micah played keeper in the United Soccer League, a tier below the MLS. Nielsen will play it back to Bledsoe. Bledsoe still looking for her first clean sheet in this NWSL Challenge Cup. That one just out of range for Bailey Feist. Hubley way forward. Herriman. Lucy lining up. Fires in and stopped by Bledsoe. A great diving save by last year's goalkeeper of the year.
And we mentioned in the pregame we'd be looking to Tyler Lucy to help the veterans with scoring. I love Herriman getting the ball to Lucy. Lucy taking the hard shot across the goal, but Bledsoe making that save. Good sustained pressure from the Thorns, Josh.
Great look on that shot from the Princeton grad, but not able to get it by Aubrey Bledsoe. So 108 saves in 2018, and then she responds in 2019 with 86. Scoreless here as we enter the 41st minute. No subs yet. We usually see those in the second half of these games. Of course, every team has 5 subs per game. DiBiase trying to tow her way down the touchline. DiBiase a little bit quiet here in this NWSL Challenge Cup to start, but of course, that changes game to game. Still the young core of the Spirit, so dangerous in the midfield. Really today looking for some help up top in that attacking third. Long throw by Staub. Brought down by Yokoyama, and that one blocked wide by Ekstrom. 2 great diving saves by both keepers.
Nice work by Bella Bixby. Look at that throw in, Josh. Dangerous tool to have in your arsenal, and Yokoyama in traffic, getting it over traffic, but coming down low enough to force Bixby to get a save, to make a save.
Inward swinging ball, punched away by Bixby. Jacobs outside, Feist in the channel, towards the spot. Sent right back in that one, shot in. And Bixby this time able to grasp onto the ball. No chance for a corner, no chance for a rebound. Bella Bixby in this third game, you just see her continue to grow in this NWSL Challenge Cup. Of course, she's replacing A.D. French, who's out with an injury. Bixby did not have an NWSL start in her career until the first one here in the Challenge Cup against North Carolina. But Mark Parsons showing his belief in the young keeper. Sinclair, Westfall. Takes a deflection, and right there, cleared away by Feist. Yokoyama, and she's ripped to the ground by Herriman, but this is gonna go against Yokoyama, who also was grabbing onto Herriman. Yokoyama, 2 great shots, but the last one she had, she really made Bella Bixby have to work for that save.
Great saves on both ends of the field tonight, Josh. And 2 goal line clearances. Admittedly, one after the whistle, but still, like, Washington Spirit, unbelievable.
Kristen Westfall, the player, slow to get up for the Thorns. Westfall able to stand up and walk off. Of course, Westfall, 2 years with Reign. This is her first year with the Thorns. She also played 2 years with Boston to start off her NWSL career. Sanchez flying up. Collins looking to go back to Sanchez as that pass is knocked down by Hubley. Feist. Sullivan heads up, looking to shoot. No, she'll pass it outside. Yokoyama. Sullivan. DiBiase goes out, and that one too strong. She was trying to get it back to Andy Sullivan near the corner, but just sent that one out of play. Jordan DiBiase, a finalist last year for Rookie of the Year.
Of course, Rookie of the Year going to Bethany Balser. With Seattle, well, Reign FC last year, now OL Reign. Back in the day, Seattle Reign.
Both teams still looking for that first goal, and last time Sam Staub was able to get this into the middle of the box. Just another great weapon for Richie Burke. Staub actually 4th all-time in assists at Clemson University. Another long throw. Yokoyama turning away. Rodriguez with her. Sullivan. Another collision once again.
Both Salem and
Sinan.
Sullivan down.
That shot blocked away. Collins there, but as well as Christine Sinclair.
Bixby coming out to settle that. Looks like the ref has blown the whistle because of the players down. Angela Salem, we mentioned her previously, has played every season of this league, also played 2 seasons in WPS. Came out of Francis Marion. She's the first ever female soccer player to play professionally out of Francis Marion.
Salem able to get up as we approach half. Of course, we'll have highlights and stats from the earlier game today, and we'll have it from this one as well. Once again, seeing another game looking like it's going to go scoreless into half. Long-range ball. Weaver. Klingenberg. Stops, brings it back. Brand loses possession. Will be on the trying to get around Herriman, but unable to get back on the ball. Herriman so good box to box. It's a midfielder that does a little bit of everything for Mark Parsons. That one out of the reach of Klingenberg. Take a look at the secret virtual watch party powered by Google Meet. Great to see the fans with their signs and their scarves.
Love to see the scarves. Hoping we're going to have an NWSL Challenge Cup scarf available on NWSLshop.com.
DiBiase. Brand trying to spin away from Sullivan. Does. Sinclair. Portland looking for one last run here before half. Westfall plays it back. Mingus in to Rodriguez. Scoop ball. Salem giving chase. Weaver lines it up, sends it in, back post. And Bledsoe grabs it out midair. Build up there late, but nothing to show here in this first half for either club as we will go to half scoreless between the Portland Thorns and the Washington Spirit. Of course, Portland still looking for that first win. Meanwhile, for the Spirit, they're looking for their second win of the NWSL Challenge Cup. When we return, we'll have action from our earlier game. We'll be back here. You're watching the NWSL on Twitch. Welcome back. We are at half here between Portland and Washington, but earlier game today saw North Carolina Courage and the Chicago Red Stars take on one another. In the 19th minute, Sam Ewis would push it up the spine, and here she would get a shot, and Melissa Nair lays out on the turf and is able to get her hand on to knock it wide of the frame. But here, Kaylee Watt picks the pocket of Abby Dahlkemper and then heads the other direction and nearly gets this one by Rowland, but a great save by Caitlin Rowland for Rowland getting her first start in this NWSL Challenge Cup. A good battle there. Abby Dahlkemper and Abby Ersick coming back on that tackle. North Carolina will get things going in the second half as this is played to Lynn Williams. Plays to Millay, but blocked by Sarah Gordon coming over and getting in the way of the shot, just in the perfect alley right there. Otherwise, maybe Millay tucks that in the left corner in the 81st minute. Ball played up to Jaylene Daniels. Plays it forward and off the head of Abby Ersick and just over Alyssa Nair for the lone goal in this one, as the Kiwi gets her first goal in the NWSL Challenge Cup, and North Carolina Courage now has 3 wins in the NWSL Challenge Cup as we take a look at the schedule of what's coming up here in this Challenge Cup.
Right, the action continues this Wednesday, Josh. Another doubleheader. Utah Royals FC taking on OL Reign. Of course, Reign still looking for their first win and even first goal. Nightcap Sky Blue FC versus Houston Dash. And then Sunday, we resume the action again. Washington Spirit taking on the Dash. Final game of the first round for those teams. Same for Chicago Red Stars and Utah Royals, capping off their first round action next Sunday.
We are at half here between Portland and Washington. This final game of the 4th of July weekend doubleheader. We'll be back with highlights and stats right here on NWSL Twitch. Beautiful sunset here at half. Portland 0, Spirit 0. Portland looking for their first 3. Washington, meanwhile, looking for their second win. We'll have highlights and stats from the first half when we return. 45 minutes in the books. Portland and the Spirit scoreless in this one, but both teams have had chances here in the first half as we take a look back at the highlights in this one.
Early in the match, 8th minute. Washington Spirit getting up in the attack. Yokoyama loved this shot across her body. Going for the far corner, just a little bit past the post. Bixby trying to make the save, but doesn't have to. Again, coming down that left side. Ooh, bullet shot. Ashley Sanchez. You could hear that ricochet off of Bixby's gloves. And then for the Thorns, Tyler Lucy trying to get her head on a cross. Can't keep it low enough to put it on frame. A few minutes later, coming in from the right, Lindsay Herriman almost getting it into an open net after Bledsoe had come near post, but Paige Nielsen making the goal line save. And then Sinclair's follow-up going wide. Klingenberg with that distribution. Should have been an easy goal for Portland, but man, the teeth of Paige Nielsen, I love it, keeping that ball out of the net. And then 40th minute, again, Portland coming down on the attack, coming through the middle this time. Herriman sending it over to Lucy to cross it in. Bullet shot. Aubrey Bledsoe taking that one down cleanly. Just a moment later, incredible long throw from Sam Staub. And once again, Kumi Yokoyama getting a shot. This one even closer, and this one on frame. So Bixby really had to stretch to keep that out of the net.
Great first half from both sides as we take a look at the stats. And one thing that really jumps out is the possession for the Portland Thorns. 59% to just 41%, especially for a Washington team that is so used to possessing the ball and moving with patience. They have not been able to build up as much as they would like, but we'll see how that changes here in the second half.
And Portland doing such a great job in that midfield, breaking up all of the natural connections that Washington Spirit likes to rely on. Of course, we're hearing that for the second half, we will have two of their regular starters coming in as subs, so we'll see how that will change.
Looking to come in here at half will be Ashley Sanchez and Rose Lavelle. Both those two players with the 2 goals here for the Washington Spirit in this NWSL Challenge Cup. I was in the win against Chicago to open up the Challenge Cup. As Rose Lavelle will head in and she'll replace Bailey Feist. Ashley Hatch will replace Avery Collins. Bringing your 2 key players up top for Richie Burke.
Basically our number 1 and number 2 overall picks from the 2017 NWSL draft. Lavelle originally going to Boston, Hatch originally going to North Carolina. Joined on this team, and they've both looked great.
With 3 games in 8 days, they got a little bit of a rest to at least start this game off, but now coming in as substitutions. We'll see how they change this game here in the second 45. The first half very much dominated by possession by the Portland Thorns, but maybe with those 2 changes, Portland can get back on track. Weaver cuts it across. Herriman. Herriman's been so dangerous on these crosses. And that one headed away. That was intended for Morgan Weaver, who was waiting on the back post. Yokoyama. Yokoyama also very dangerous in the final third for the Spirit. You saw the highlights at half. 2 great shots. One where Bixby had to get a hand on it in order to make a save.
Both teams getting chances in that first half. Really like to see it. I think this was one of the toughest ones to call this weekend. We're trying to pick what we thought the outcome would be. And I'd be really surprised if this one ends scoreless. Both teams having good shots on target.
Rodriguez there to head it down. Westfall. And she'll simply play it to the near side. For Portland, they have dominated the history between these 2 clubs. 10 wins, Last year, though, you look at what happened. 1 win for each team, 1 loss, obviously, and then the 1 draw.
And that draw was the regular season finale when neither team could change their position in the standings. It was a pretty dry, scoreless draw at Portland.
There you see Becky Sauerbrunn. Becky Sauerbrunn out with this one. 4-time Defender of the Year in the NWSL, coming over in a trade from Utah Rose FC for Elizabeth Ball. One of the bigger trades this offseason. Klingenberg plays it back to Bixby, and Bixby able to get it. Otherwise, Washington would have had a great opportunity for a corner here in the second half. Salem, the veteran, right through the middle. Weaver sprinting forward. Weaver, square ball. Sinclair was coming up and sends it well off target.
I like the idea behind that run from Weaver. You could tell she knew where Sinclair was going to be. Ball down the flank. She's running on it. She knows who to look for, right? She doesn't send it square. She sends it back to the onrushing Sinclair, who just doesn't get the right touch on it, slips and sends it wide. But what a beautiful combination between the rookie and the oldest field player in the tournament.
Salem turns away. Rodriguez. DiBiase giving chase. Rodriguez trying to slot that through to Westfall. Staub plays it out. Sam Staub, of course, one of 3 rookies ever to play every minute in their first season. As this is sent in, and Bledsoe right on the line grabs that. Aubrey Bledsoe looking for her first clean sheet in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Bledsoe last year had 9. Westfall. The Spirit, they're looking for their 2nd win. Looking to bounce back after falling to the North Carolina Courage in a 2-0 loss.
They had such a great start to this tournament, I think really surprising a lot of us to get that explosive win against the Chicago Red Stars. Had to change up their game plan knowing they were playing North Carolina Courage second. I mean, in a way, you could say they're in the group of death, right? They're playing the teams that finished 1, 2, and 3 last season before they finish up against the Houston Dash. Richie Burke said that what he liked about this game is they could kind of return to their style of soccer as opposed to adjusting to an opponent.
Yokoyama. Lavelle. Lavelle with that left foot. Sanchez trying to cut back. Good job there by Westfall from preventing that from happening. Just a matter of time before Ashley Sanchez begins to find her groove in the NWSL. Came out of UCLA after her junior season.
Richie Burke just her talent. You know, there's just always that transition from college to pros.
Back post.
But when you think of the players around her, you know, and coming into a team that kind of, you know, turned over its culture and got a really fresh start last season, that's got to be great momentum for a rookie coming in, especially a younger rookie.
This Washington Spirit team, youngest team in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Their field players' age averages 24 years old. Weaver. Just outside the area, towards the back. Sinclair brings it down. And And the quick throw out by Bledsoe. Christine Sinclair, 186 international goals.
World record, you gotta love it.
Hatch. This one played out by Mingus. Mingus doing an excellent job in that center back position. Of course, Catherine Reynolds out for the moment, but she could possibly sub in. But you're seeing a different look on that back line for Mark Parsons. Lavelle, Yokoyama gets it right back. Good combination. Lavelle. DiBiase was coming up on the play. But Thorns doing a good job of clearing that.
And of course, Josh, we've talked about a lot of the draft picks, right? In both of these teams and draft history. Of course, the #1 overall draft pick for this year, Sophia Smith. Again, a player coming out of school early, leaving Stanford early to declare for the draft and get picked #1 by Portland. We have not been able to see her yet in this tournament, and we might not. It's still up in the air, but she's dealing with a minor knee injury. Portland being very, very cautious. Haven't seen Adriana Franch either.
Portland trading up in this past year's draft to draft Sophia Smith, and then right behind her, Morgan Weaver at #2.
And one of the players they had to give up to get that #1 pick was Emily Sonnet, who they sent to Orlando. Emily Sonnet herself, a Portland #1 pick back in 2016 that they acquired by trading with Orlando. So history just repeats itself.
Seems like when Portland makes a trade, they make a big one in the draft. Falling down was Bixby, but finds Herran. Westfall, that one ricochets off DiBiase. The second-year player out of Stanford plays it back. McGrady. Down the line. Sanchez, that ball dispossessed by Mingus. This one simply played out. Of course, for Portland, 2 times they have won the NWSL championship, 2013 and 2017. Washington, the last time they were in the playoffs was 2016 when they reached the championship game where they fell to Western New York. And it was a rough 2 years for the Spirit. Things turning around, though, under Richie Burke. Herran brings it down. Drops it off. The shot, and that one, Salem able to tee up, but sends it into the backstop.
Love that work from Herran, getting it into the box. Looking back for the onrushing Salem. We saw a similar play earlier, just from the other side. She looks back to drop it. Shot from distance by Salem, but over the goal.
Thorns, a total of 6 shots on target. He made things difficult for Aubrey Bledsoe in that back line. For Washington Spirit, Tori Huster not starting tonight. She is available to play. You're seeing a different back row with the addition of Natalie Jacobs in the spot that Tori Huster normally plays at right back. Good read there, Hatch now to Lavelle, back out to Hatch. Hatch sends it in, and smothering that ball was Bella Bixby.
Both keepers really doing the work tonight.
You've seen some of these different keepers doing an excellent job as Weaver bounds forward. But when they get their hands on the ball, they grab it as opposed to punching it out.
Depends on the keeper, though. We did see a lot of punches in the earlier match today. Also depends on where that ball is coming from.
McGrady. Grady fully fit and healthy. He played in 6 games her rookie season. Stop. Diagonal ball. Hubley. Hubley doing a good job slotting in at the center back position. She does have experience playing it before with the Thorns. Makes things a little bit easier for Mark Parsons. You talked about how Autumn Smithers got the start last game. We'll see what Parsons does going forward.
Well, and to have a back line that keeps changing pieces, but is still mostly keeping people off the scoreboard, that's a good sign. Hatch coming down that flank, sending it across. Bixby shutting it down. Would have been nice to see a runner on the other side, maybe pressure Bixby a little more. We're getting near that point, Josh, where we start to see more subs, right? Richie Burke had a plan with bringing Lavelle and Hatch on at halftime. That's clearly a scripted move, but what do you think we're going to see from Portland in terms of subs? How long does this starting 11 stay?
I think it's been about the 65th minute. We've seen a lot of teams begin to sub in and out players, but obviously here we're going to go. We're going to get a Portland sub right away in our next stoppage. Lavelle trying to bring that back, but right there Rocky Rodriguez able to dispossess Rose Lavelle.
And I asked when we'd see a sub, and it sounds like we're going to see a sub for Portland, Josh.
Lavelle slow to get up, walking gingerly. Looks like she'll be able to walk this off. Rocky Rodriguez goes over to make sure Lavelle is all right. Hubley. And now Portland just restarting. Seeing a great job by Portland possessing the ball tonight. It's been difficult for Washington to get the ball away and stay that final third. Portland doing an excellent job controlling this from the starting point. And now I believe we will have that sub. And Marissa Everett will come in for Christine Sinclair. Marissa Everett, second-year player out of the University of Oregon. Last year appeared in 4 games. She has played in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Sinclair will hand off the captain's armband. She'll give it to the 7-year pro in Emily Mingus.
Mingus, having spent her entire career with the Thorns, drafted out of Georgetown. Again, not your big soccer powerhouse name, but one of the things I love about this league, Josh, is the players that we end up discovering and seeing and growing that aren't from your typical big name soccer schools.
You talked about Angela Salem earlier being from Francis Marion.
Exactly.
Lavelle.
And I can imagine, Josh, it's got to be frustrating for Christine Sinclair to come out just 60 minutes in, but Mark Parsons has to be thinking about managing minutes. They've got another first-round game. They know they're playing a quarterfinal game. You want to get some new players minutes. More importantly, you want to rest a veteran.
Especially you rest someone like Christine Sinclair, 36 years old. Give her extra time, 37.
As of last month.
Give her extra time to recover as Everett plays it out, and then you get a longer look at Marissa Everett as well, see how she can jumpstart this offense in that final third. A great threaded ball. Can Lucy get there? Nielsen showing off the speed.
I think it also brings in a player that perhaps Spirit wouldn't have nearly as much footage on.
And then you have the errant pass by Aubrey Bledsoe. Bledsoe had time to work with there. Westfall. Everett. And stop. Plays it near the circle, but chopped down. Herriman. Herriman trying to thread that one to Everett. And good job there by Nielsen once again. Nielsen in the right place at the right time. She does such a good job of cutting out space that the Thorns are trying to get to in the middle of the pitch.
And she and center back partner Sam Staub, the two of them, they've played every minute so far for Washington Spirit. On the flip side, Portland does not have a player who's played every minute, but of course they've had some injuries to deal with, other rotations. Though I would be really surprised if there's any player, any field player, that plays every minute of the first round.
Lavelle turns. McGrady. Sanchez. Sanchez sliding through to Hatch. Hatch! And that one, what a beautiful save by Bella Bixby, going up full tilt with the right hand. Two spectacular saves for Bella Bixby.
Spirit working it down the left, sending that ball through to Hatch. Like the left kind of almost chip, she's floating it up to try to get it in that upper left corner. Bixby reads it perfectly.
Bixby denying Ashley Hatch of her second goal in the NWSL Challenge Cup. DiBiase headed down, and that one headed out. And this will stick with Washington. I don't know if it went off Tyler Lucy. Another chance right there for Washington as they have become a little bit more dangerous here in this second half. Ashley Hatch with a great chance moments ago. In the first half, Bixby denied Yokoyama. Lavelle plays it in, and Bixby right there. Lavelle had Staub and Yokoyama waiting on the 6, but Bixby grabbing that ball.
What a great stretch by Bella Bixby. All, 6'1" of Bella Bixby to get up and extend that right arm to keep that ball out of the net. Those fans, the Portland fans, were like, no!
Bella Bixby just getting more comfortable as the Challenge Cup continues. First ever NWSL start came in Game 1 in the loss to North Carolina.
Undrafted in 2018, but picked up as that third keeper for the Portland Thorns. Third keeper, more important than you might expect, because you never know, someone get injured or you have an international call up too.
You can go back to Reign FC last year for that example. Yokoyama down the line. Sanchez finds Sullivan.
And what I love is that Bella Bixby got her actual first professional games playing in the Frauen Bundesliga, a connection that goalkeeper coach for the Thorns, Nadine Ungerer, helped set up.
McGrady. DiBiase. Hatch back to DiBiase, and too far. This one laid back to Bixby, but what a performance for Bella Bixby. Also on the other side, Aubrey Bledsoe has been excellent for the Spirit. Both keepers making diving saves tonight. Rodriguez. Mingus. Herriman plays it up, and Bledsoe will come out before Weaver can reach the ball. Thorns last year fell in the semifinals to the Chicago Red Stars. Really wanted to regroup and change things up, and you're seeing a lot of new players having different roles that were brought in. McGrady plays it all the way back to stop. Seeing more patience here and much crisper passing in the second half for the Spirit. Hatch. Sanchez was in the area, but Westphal does a good job of clearing that out. McGrady high into the air.
Love that pressure from Hatch, just as a reminder to Bella Bixby, hey, I'm here. Gonna score on you sometime.
Hatch, of course, played right down the street in Provo, Utah at Brigham Young University.
She even got her first cap with the senior U.S. Women's National Team here in Utah at Rio Tinto Stadium in 2016.
Of course, the semifinals will move over to Rio Tinto Stadium as that ball's turned over. The finals also played at the Riot, as they call it. Herriman. Hard collision there. Andy Sullivan and Lindsey Herriman, the two players involved.
Getting into sub territory, Josh. We're hearing there's going to be, sounds like we have a lot of subs coming up probably after this free kick is taken. And this is a situation Richie Burke was worried about. The distribution skills of Megan Klingenberg and having the heading power of someone like Lindsey Herriman.
Lindsey Herriman, of course, a great aerial target. And that's where they go with the header, and she has the goal! Lindsey Herriman with the first goal for the Portland Thorns. And what a pass from Klingenberg. Herriman, full layout to reach that ball.
And that's exactly what Richie Burke was afraid of. A set piece with the ball from Klingenberg connecting to the head of Lindsey Herriman. I'm feeling shades of the 2014 World Cup, right? Holland had a goal like that, just totally stretched out header. Aubrey Bledsoe's right there, her hand's almost on it. Can't find it. Portland scores for the first time since late in their opening game to get a late lead over Washington Spirit. Secret virtual watch party fans, you know they're happy, at least the Portland fans are happy, and that's Herriman's first goal of the tournament.
Herriman nearly had a goal off her head in the first game. It went off LeBay, she popped it up, and Simone Charlie was able to get the goal for the Thorns, but right there, Lindsey Herriman with her first goal here in the NWSL Challenge Cup, as Simone Charlie now will check in.
Charlie being the other goal scorer for the Thorns in this tournament. She got one, she got a late equalizer against North Carolina in the opener, but Carolina came back and got an even later go-ahead goal.
Thorns looking for that first win here in the Challenge Cup. 20 minutes to hold on to this 1-0 lead.
So 3 Portland subs have come on. Klingenberg clearing that out so we can tell you Pogarsh has come on for Morgan Weaver. Simone Charlie took the place of Angela Salem. We already saw Simone Charlie there.
We're also getting our first look at Gabby Seiler.
At last.
For the Portland Thorns, she had an ACL injury. It was only a matter of time before Mark Parsons was going to bring her on. We weren't quite sure when, but now bringing her on in this third game to get 20 minutes. She'll have to build back up to full fitness. But Seiler was such a good connector from that back line to the midfield last year in her rookie year.
She had such a great run. Well, not technically not her rookie year. Technically, yes, her rookie year. Drafted in 2018, stayed in Florida to play varsity basketball, joined the Thorns late to train, actually started playing with them last season, had a long stretch of starts and was doing so great in midfield before an injury. Nice to see her back.
Seiler started 13 games last year for Mark Parsons, as Bella Bixby will direct traffic. Sullivan. And right there is Lindsay Herriman. And now we will have a substitution for the Spirit as Jenna Hellstrom will check in. And she'll replace Kumi Yokoyama. Yokoyama, probably her best performance so far in the NWSL Challenge Cup. 2 great shots. Yokoyama had the one that just tailed wide, but the great shot that Bella Bixby had to dive and get the hand on to knock wide.
Jenna Hellstrom coming on. Came out of Kent State, spent all of her pro career so far abroad. This is her first season in NWSL, and she's hoping to get enough time to break into the regular rotation for the Canadian national team.
12 different records she set at Kent State University. Soccer fans, the official shop of the NWSL is coming soon. Visit NWSLshop.com now and sign up to be the first to receive special offers and promotions. NWSLshop.com, the official place to gear up and support your favorite team, coming soon.
And yes, there will be tournament branded merchandise, NWSL Challenge Cup merchandise on the site. Yes, they will ship internationally. We're hearing the store will launch around the quarterfinals, July 17th, July 18th, which is not that far away.
Portland looking for their first win here in this NWSL Challenge Cup. Meanwhile, the Washington Spirit trying to prevent back-to-back losses. Plenty of time for them to get back into this one and find that equalizer.
And a Portland win tonight, if this result holds, that means they're sitting on 4 points along with Washington Spirit and Houston Dash. They would be the only teams right behind North Carolina Courage. A tie keeps both of these teams in the middle of the standings at 4th and 5th. And if Washington Spirit can come from behind and get a win, they could leapfrog everybody but North Carolina and be in 2nd place all by themselves.
Sanchez. Mingus back to the spot. And then looked like Lavella got hit on the leg there on the follow through by Hubley. Rose Lavelle, a goal in the first game against North Carolina. Looking to provide some magic possibly in this one, as that's knotted down by Nielsen. Everett pops in the air, Simone Charlie in the area. Nielsen. Out wide.
Portland can still use 1 sub. Washington still has 2 to go.
McGrady. Towards the top of the box, headed up by Sanchez. Hatch. This one played back by Pogarsh. Mistouched. Hatch turns away. Sanchez. Hard tackle there by Masson Pogarsh. Sanchez will try again. Scoops it up to McGrady. McGrady plays it in off Mingus. And a corner coming for the Spirit.
Probably the most sustained attack we've had from the Spirit in a long stretch. Pass to pass to pass. That's the kind of soccer Richie Burke likes them to play. And very important to get a corner out of all of that.
Bella Bixby, though, has been terrific between the sticks for the Portland Thorns. Bailey sends it in, the liner, great back heel, somehow keeps that in, and now Washington has found the equalizer. The Spirit on the board in the 77th minute. Well, Portland did a marvelous job of keeping this out initially. Washington able to get the equalizer.
Corner kick from the near post. Love that back heel. Washington sending the ball right back in. Oh, look at that hop. And the celebration. I love the entire team going over to celebrate.
Sam Staub with the goal for the Spirit. Getting it right before the hydration break. What a way to tie things up. I don't know how that ball was kept in on the back heel. It was. And Staub finishes it off. But we are all tied up, one apiece. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The equalizer just coming moments ago for the Washington Spirit. What a goal by Sam Staub. Really the back heel to keep it in. And then Staub with the header to get the equalizer.
She had a goal in her first ever pro match last year for the Spirit, helping Washington to a win in Richie Burke's first ever game as head coach. And here, getting the very, very crucial equalizer.
Staub, such a key piece in that back line for the Spirit. We see how crucial she is on those throws from the touchline where she can reach the box, but on that cross, does that one sit on the ground? Easy scoop for Bledsoe.
And speaking of that back line, Josh, we had a defensive sub during the hydration break. Tori Huster coming in for rookie Natalie Jacobs. And also during the hydration break, Portland Thorns veteran Catherine Reynolds coming in at center back to replace Emily Menges.
Both veterans saving their legs. Still getting some run here late as we have a little bit more than 10 minutes remaining in this one. Right now, sitting tied 1-1 as Portland still looks for that first win. Spirit hoping to get another goal to possibly come up with their second win in the NWSL Challenge Cup. Tori Huster, most minutes, most games played for the Spirit.
And one of my favorite nuggets, one of just 7 players in the league that have played all 8 seasons, previous seasons obviously, with the same club. On the opposite side, of course, would be Christine Sinclair for Portland Thorns, along with Tobin Heath, who has opted out of this tournament.
Karen Apt making sure everything's running right. Hogarth's delivery was over the head of Everett. Reynolds gives chase, and that one rolls out, and she nearly got to it, and she was falling off balance. Couldn't keep it in. And now Portland with a high pressure. In the first half, they made it difficult for Washington to move the ball of the pitch, but it's been a much different story in the second half for the Spirit.
And here we get another long throw courtesy of Sam Staub. We hear she said in the offseason her long throw has been getting longer, believe it or not.
Well, when you can send it from that final third to midfield, that's always something else to get your team out of danger. McGrady. That one hits off Reynolds.
We need a throw off between Sam Staub for the Spirit and Jessica McDonald for North Carolina Courage, who has a really mean long throw in too. That would be a fun kind of like all-star game-ish kind of contest.
A little different kind of skills challenge right
Yeah,
there.
right. We're not talking free kicks. We're talking show us your long throw.
And now Dorian Bailey will line up. Last time Spirit were able to get a goal off the corner. Far post. Lavelle. Seiler blazes to the touchline. Great to see Gabby Seiler back. And now here's a long throw attempt that you were asking for, Jen. That one right at Pogarso.
And it's great to see that Washington is still pressing. The confidence from getting that equalizer.
Hatch did the good job stuttering there. Able to clear space, but then sends it well over the crossbar. Ashley Hatch in her third season began her career with the North Carolina Courage, winning Rookie of the Year.
Gotta love that Nike branded ball with the NWSL logo on it. Hoping that's available for sale on NWSLshop.com too.
Find out in about a week. Knotted up, one apiece. Staub, Charlie in pursuit. And Charlie trips up Sam Staub. Simone Charlie, the goal in the first game for the Portland Thorns. She and Lindsay Herriman, the only players to score for Portland. Herriman. Charlie, is she onside? We're going to say yes. It's a little bit too much touch from Simone Charlie, allowed Aubrey Bledsoe to get on top of that ball.
Great pressure by Charlie, but Bledsoe came out, handled that easily.
And now the Spirit looking to run. McGrady. Lavelle. Hatch back to Lavelle. Hatch. And once again, just high. You can see the Thorns converging on Lavelle. Lavelle played it over to Hatch, but just sends another riser above the bar. And now here in this second half, the momentum has switched a little bit more to the Spirit. Large part due to Rose Lavelle and Ashley Hatch being subbed on. Hard tackle there by Charlie. Dangerous one. See if anything's handed out. You've yet to see a yellow card in this one.
Only player in the match sitting on a yellow is Tyler Lucy, still in on the attack for Portland. In this tournament, 2 yellows over the course of the tournament, or rather until the semifinals, and you sit out the next game. clean slate after the quarterfinals. And of course, teams have to think too collectively, the Yellows, that could be a potential tiebreaker. And as we're seeing, these games are so close. If this result holds, you got Houston, Utah, and Washington tied on 4 points, right behind North Carolina with 9. Portland would have 2 to be ahead of Sky Blue, Reign, and Chicago. More games to play this Wednesday. At that point, everybody will be through 3 games.
Hubley. Everett. Rodriguez pops it up. Herriman with the right, and what a stop there by Bledsoe. It looked like that one was going to find the corner, but Bledsoe somehow able to get her hands on it.
Save of the game right there for me, Josh. Rodriguez popping up the ball. Easy settle for Herriman. Shoots across her body to find that far corner, but nope. Stretch arm from Bledsoe keeps it out of the net.
Huge save there in the 88th minute by Aubrey Bledsoe. Last year's goalkeeper of the year coming up big. Both goalkeepers have been fantastic tonight, keeping their teams in this. Sanchez pushing the pace, trying to find Lavelle, but Reynolds right there. Catherine Reynolds, one of those late subs for the Thorns, paying off dividends with the fresh legs. Now Lucy up ahead, and Bledsoe well out.
The fight in both of these teams, Josh. No one wants a draw.
That stays in. Charlie towards the top of the area. Lucy falls over, still in possession. Herriman. Great steal there by Andy Sullivan. So solid in the defensive end for the Spirit. Seiler. Rodriguez turns away. Herriman just a little bit out of the reach. Herriman nearly got that back as Staub was backing up. Hellstrom with the shot, and that one was beginning to curl in.
Gutsy from distance, but hey, you want to prove something to your new coach? Maybe help your team get 3 points instead of 1. That's what you got to do.
Mingus will play the full 90 in this one as that's cut out by Rose Lavelle. This one has not slowed down. Both teams looking for that second goal and those important 3 points. Spirit looking for their second win of the Challenge Cup. Portland searching for that first win. Nielsen plays it back to Bledsoe. Poor pass there by Bledsoe, trying to find Tori Huster. Seiler, 3 minutes of stoppage time added on. Corner coming for the Thorns. Fireworks in the background. There's been fireworks in this one. A late goal by Sam Staub to tie it up. That one coming in the 77th minute. Aubrey Bledsoe just moments ago with a brilliant save. And once again, searching for Lindsey Herriman, got her head on it. She had the beautiful header earlier in this half on the full layout. Bledsoe will set things up. Look to send this deep with just a couple minutes remaining in stoppage time. We have seen a stoppage time goal in this Challenge Cup coming from North Carolina Courage against these Thorns. Will history repeat itself?
Or will they be on the scoring end of a stoppage time game winner?
Hatch. Right there is Pogarsh. Seiler out of the circle. Falls down. Huster able to capitalize. Hatch will go down towards the corner of Hellstrom.
Almost gets that cross off before getting pushed out.
And we're going to have a goal kick. Hellstrom thought it was a corner earned.
She may have been past the line when she got the last touch. Hard to see that.
Bella Bixby, another excellent performance between the sticks for Portland. You go back to the marvelous save that she had on Yokoyama on a full layout save. Both keepers absolutely marvelous tonight.
Can't be much time left.
Lavelle. Hellstrom was trying to find Sanchez at the spot, couldn't get through the defenders. Sullivan. Sullivan coming near side, and a good job by Reynolds there, clearing up to midfield. And there is the final whistle. Maybe not, maybe we'll have an injury whistle. We'll still wait for a final confirmation.
It seems like the players are pretty confused too.
Knee-on-knee collision. McGrady also getting hit in the chest area. And it looks like this game is over with the way that Sullivan and Herriman and Lavelle are shaking hands. But what a finish to this one. A great save by Aubrey Bledsoe late to keep this at 1 apiece. Both teams will come out with 1 point in this one. And a hard-fought battle. What a game, what a performance by the goalkeepers. We'll have highlights and stats in this one between Portland Thorns and the Washington Spirit